Welcome to yet another episode of the Splitfire Gaming Podcast. This is into year 3. So what started as something to do during some pandemic thing from a couple of years ago is now stretched into its 3rd year. And to celebrate, here is 2 people who've been on a million times. Scott, welcome back.
Thank you.
And Steve, back again.
Thank you.
Not had any better offers from bigger podcasts or better people?
Not anybody else willing to take us, to be honest, have we?
Yeah, no.
I've cornered the market.
The offers of money and all sorts.
Money?
Cornered the market in slightly unwanted people in northeast England.
That's fun. Yeah, that's building up the reputation there. When this goes out, clearly we missed out January to start the year off, so we thought we'll do it in February. This is just more of like a the year to come sort of episode. It's not just me trying to wing it while I think of a better or more consistent episodes. So that's definitely not what's happening. This is really what we planned on doing.
This is us celebrating the scene as it stands currently in the UK.
Well saved. That's a very good justification. You better. You put the furniture now.
That's it. Can't get rid of this from like a bad smell.
The scene, though, like you're saying, is, as we were just saying before we started recording, is exceptionally vibrant. As what we're working out is that 8 events this year.
8 already announced and on the calendar. We're fairly confident at least one more still to be announced.
That's quite a lot.
For a dead game, dead for a decade, like, I think it says a huge amount to, one, the guys who run these events, and 2, just the loyalty and the desire and the passion of the fellow nerds who love the game and want to keep playing it. Like, I think it's incredible.
Do you think this has got anything to do with the old world, which I have my own opinions about, if you want to jump into them? Or is it just a snowball effect that more people are going to more events and more people are willing to put them on?
I think it's a bit of a snowball effect. I think, obviously, ongoing sort of leaks about the old world will definitely help, and it's probably helping get more people back into the hobby, would be me guess. But I really think, actually, we're seeing more and more events being run because of how successful the ones that have been run for a while now have been.
I actually think the pandemic might have helped a little bit in that when we're allowed to put events on again, everyone was kind of like, "Oh, thank God, I can go and."
That's a valid point.
Dice around.
Think back to the first event post-pandemic, which was the first Cardiff event. It was like 70 people strong.
70, yeah.
And that was even still kind of lurking.
But even that, like the last Cardiff we went to, I'm sure they had to put on more tables because they sold out, and then they said they could take some more.
Yeah, I think the last one was like about 40.
40 odd, yeah.
The next one's already up to 58, I want to say. It's big again.
And that's what we'll get on to. Triple Crown had to split their GT into 2 because the demand was so high.
Incredible.
Which then both sold out. So
I think it's a testament as well to the organizer of these events putting on good events.
Oh, yeah.
That people want to come back to.
Definitely. I think the scene couldn't be so vibrant if it wasn't for some genuinely incredible people running the events.
And the fact that we consistently turn up for them.
Yeah, whether they want us there or not, most of the time.
I mean, the ban system hasn't been implemented just yet.
That's what disguises are for.
On a complete, well, not a complete tangent, but was anyone else... well, I don't know what your opinion on the old world is. I was pretty positive until they released the thing saying don't forget that the end time still happened and your world was actually destroyed. That's canon. That put me right off.
It doesn't do anything. Doesn't affect my excitement for it, to be honest. But I think what it does is continues to appease the players who play Age of Sigmar, in case there was concern there that they were going to, I don't know, look to take that away and revamp Warhammer further. Like, for me, it's irrelevant. Like, I continue to play a dead game anyway, so the fact that the end times may have happened at some point in the future, like, old world setting has already been announced for like back in time. It doesn't do anything to dampen my excitement. I am incredibly looking forward to it.
No,
I would rather they said this is an alternate timeline, or a celestial wizard has somehow altered the past.
No.
I'm not. I'm with Scott on that one. It's set far enough back in the past for it not to come near end times anyway, and it's kind of like 30k being set in the same universe as 40k, but it's so.
Clearly, I need some new guests.
It's like giving you an opportunity to play.
40k is irrelevant to 30k.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's exciting in the fact that it's giving you a chance to play in the history of the era of the game that we've played for so long.
Here's my counterpoint, and then I'll leave the topic. This means in the Battle of Finuval Plain that hasn't happened yet, you actually have to side with Malekith because he should be the real Phoenix King. And that would actually break my mind when that comes up. So let's hope it never does.
I think we all know Malekith is the true Phoenix King.
Well, this is exactly why I can't endorse the end times really happened honest statement from GW. Anyway, what have you both got coming up in the new year? Anything new year?
From a hobby perspective?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm finishing off the Tomb Kings that I've been working on for quite a long time. Next on the hobby sort of event is either Warriors of Chaos for something very, very different, or Dwarfs. Are the two things on other sort of one-off bits to go with existing armies. They're the next two big things on the agenda for us as I continue to sort of just chip away, finishing off the last bits and pieces of the Tomb Kings.
For me, I'm nearly finished my Dwarf army for Triple Crown in May. And then I'll add a couple of units for it so that if I manage to get to Derby, I'll take it to Derby as well. Nice. Other than that, I want to do an all-core army, so I'm just deciding which one to do. I think it's probably going to be Lizardman.
Skink Cloud.
Yes. Something along those lines.
Couldn't possibly confirm or deny.
No, I can't. But Beastmen are another option.
It's just because you can have chariots, lots of chariots.
Actually,
I know it's not.
Beastmen list doesn't have a single chariot in it.
No, I've seen your initial list. You crazy man.
It's not really fair to ask Steve though, because he turns around armies in like 2 weeks.
No, he's an animal. He's an animal, and they're painted incredibly well. I don't know why you keep inviting him on. He's a bad person.
It's the fact that the idea comes up, built, painted, and then sold before I've even completed like whatever project it was I had for the year.
What about you though? Is your project the Zenith Demons?
It certainly is.
Amazing.
Yeah, they are half done-ish, thanks to contrast paint. So, when this
love them.
When this house move stuff is all done, I will put them all on a table and get them all painted for one of the tournaments, possibly, that we will talk about in a bit. Then, if that gets completed, there is the Empire Light Council Witch Hunter Stirland concept that I had which I've done very little towards. But
You've
we'll
had
see
that
how that
on
goes.
the back burner for a long time now, haven't you?
It keeps going further and further back on that back burner, so it's quite deep, the back burner now. But yeah, that's the idea. Whether or not compare this at the end of the year with how well I did, probably not that well.
You never know. The house, yeah, you might move in the house, then become a painting machine.
Or hermit, as they're also known.
That's all right. Tomato.
So we thought we would just go through the 8 as of now tournaments, events that are coming up this year, and just have a general summary of them and what we might take to them, and how they slightly differ from each or significantly differ from each other. We're not all going to all of them.
No, I've currently booked into 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 4 of the 8 that have been announced, I'm booked into.
I'm just 2 at the minute.
I think I'm also 4, possibly 5, when one of them is another one announced.
Oh, well, when the other one gets announced, then I should also be 5. But of the 8 that have been announced in the diary, I'm on 4.
Well, the first one of the year is the Cardiff Crusade, which
quite fast approaching, within a month.
Yes, it is within a month. So they ended strongly last year with the sold out Cardiff Crusade, and then they've got right in there at the start of the year with the next one.
Yeah, their compacts slightly differed from previous. They've removed the bonuses for taking no dispel. So I very much expect every army pretty much there to have a dispel scroll this time, which is a shame because it was a +2 to the compact that I always had.
So it's
otherwise, very much. Otherwise, their compact stayed the same from the last time we chatted about it. But as ever, I'm very much looking forward to Cardiff. Chris and the guys that helped them down there, the good guys. Venue is frankly incredible. And having flip-flopped around several armies, I am taking Tomb Kings to that event.
Are you going to this one, Steve?
Unfortunately not. It's a bit early in the year for me. No. But I do think, looking at the pack, there will be quite a few Tomb Kings armies there. They've
gone very harm. Like, they've really buffed Tomb Kings like a lot. Not a huge fan of the amount of buffs they've had, to be honest, and that's why I nearly didn't take them, even though my intention was to take Tomb Kings to every event this year. After finally building and painting them all last year, they've been buffed a lot in this comp.
Have they changed the core rules for them as well?
Yeah, they're allowed to march within 12 inches of the general, like they can in like VC rules. They've also amended the healing constructs rule to per cast, not per phase. But the biggie for Cardiff, they've also given them 250 extra points on top of the 2,500. So it's massive. I'll be shocked if there's probably not at least double-figure Tomb Kings players there, to be honest.
Yeah, they've basically removed a lot of the pains of playing Tomb Kings and then given them some extra points.
Yeah.
On top of that, as well as it's fairly easy to get a decent comp score with Tomb Kings anyway.
I'd be almost shocked if they weren't the most taken army to Cardiff.
If I was going, I'd take dwarfs simply because then I know I'll be pretty much 25 points ahead of everyone else that I face because their scroll, which they would inevitably have taken, would be useless.
Yeah, castles for chumps.
You're not taking the anvil then?
I wouldn't if I was going to Cardiff, no. Just because I know everyone would have a scroll, so it'd make the anvil even more pointless than it is, basically. So, I wouldn't take an anvil. I'd just take a load of slayers and stuff and sit them in the middle of the board and say, come kill me.
Looking forward to Cardiff. Cardiff have made a big change, I suppose, in the scoring system.
Yes, they've gone to the instead of victory points, you get tournament points. The most you can ever win is 17 points from actual victory points, and then you get the extra 3 from completing the mission, which is quite a big swing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's not just the 3 for getting the mission; it's the 3 for not getting the mission. So
Sorry, yes, that's right.
A 6-point swing, which on practice games is enormous.
Yeah, that one game we tried before, that was, I think it went from a 14 to a 17, which is quite a big swing.
Crazy. Yeah, it was massive. 14-6 to a 17-3 was huge.
Who did that last? Oh, Shane did it at New Year Bloodbath last year.
Yeah,
yes, but they didn't have you
like
lose comps, lose points.
Quite like it.
It's big, isn't it? It's different.
Yeah.
It's different to that, rather than just getting that lump of 500 points, because that's quite a swing as well.
It is, and that's why I think it's not just the gaining of the points that's the biggie. It's the losing of the points.
Yeah,
getting it. That is particularly enormous.
Interesting. And if they're well thought out, you can get tabled and still win your objective, and the opponent could still lose theirs.
Yeah, so you could be tabled and actually walk away with a 14-6.
Yeah, which is quite handy. I know when Shane ran his, I think the reason I did quite well was because I won my objective on every game, and my opponent didn't get theirs every game, which made a huge difference.
Yeah,
that won't work here, will it? Because you've not only have you got to win your objective, they've got to fail theirs. Is that
that's essentially it. If they don't get it, that's your 6-point swing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for sure, and it's going to be a good event because they're always great fun, and the venue is incredible.
I'll shock you all and say I am taking High Elves to it, but not the list I took to the last one, as we don't need to go over again. It's quite punishing, the comp on High Elves. I don't know about other armies, but it's very difficult to even get it close to 0. So it's my list, which doesn't have any White Lions or Phoenixes or anything like that in it, is still around the -4, -3. And it's that challenge.
I don't know about you, Steve, but I think people who take negative lists are disgusting.
Yeah. They have a special circle of hell reserved for them.
They do. Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Whatever.
Take positive lists.
I've taken a positive list and it wasn't fun.
Once.
Saying that my current Derby list is -2.
Derby doesn't count though because it's irrelevant.
We'll get on to Derby. Yes, that'll be a bit of a change to the scoring system, so that's going to be quite interesting. We'll do a episode on that close to the time, and then after that, it's
2 in 1. There's 2 events on the same weekend.
There is, yes, there is the narrative Lustria event
and the inaugural London GT.
Yeah, 2 for 1. So you got to pick one.
Well, I'm attending my brother-in-law's wedding on that day.
So pick none, in fact.
So neither. Yes, I'm at my brother-in-law's wedding, but 2 very, very different comps. The Lustrian narrative being held in Mansfield is very focused on narrative, but is, for all intents and purposes, a fully uncomped end times event.
That's quite brave.
It is. It is definitely brave. And then the inaugural London GT, which is it's essentially an amalgamate. Their compacts are give or take an amalgamation or best bits, so to speak, of both the Cardiff pack and the Triple Crown pack. The comp pack itself is Triple Crown, but the missions are essentially the Cardiff missions for the most part. So I hope that really works, and I hope it really works for the guys organising it.
This is their first one for
Mark, Simon, and Dr. Blackstill. I really hope it goes well. I hope both of them go really well. To be fair, Obviously, the more events, the better. Other than talking about the pack, now none of us are attending, which is a shame. Both look good packs for very different reasons, both very interesting. And both first time on the event calendar, which is brilliant.
Yeah, because the Lustria one was rescheduled from last year. But it's got a very detailed, yeah, like you're saying, it's got a very detailed pack.
Pack's lovely. Like, it's a beautiful pack.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort. But if that's something, well, it's not narrative.
If anyone who attends gets I've seen a copy of it, a lovely printed and bound version of the pack is one of the takeaways, which I think is really lovely, like a really different touch and differentiates it from other events.
Is it still ending with TNT, or has that changed?
No, that was when it was a 2-day event. This time It's a 1-day event, and the TNT section's been removed, which I think is the right decision. I think TNT is amazing, but it's the way to play with some pals. I don't think it's the way to finish an event.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a good beer and pretzels with some mates version of the game, I think.
Agreed. I think it's arguably the most fun way to play Warhammer. But like, you can see if you're playing a 3-way TNT, someone can be essentially out the game within half an hour after get picked on.
I remember the last time we played, and I took the first incarnation of the zombie horde list, and no one really tweaked what it could do. And the first turn, I got away with it. And everyone just looked at my army, which is now twice the size of everyone else's, and it's like, okay, everyone's ganging up on you then.
It was a lot easier to ignore that and bicker between ourselves and stab each other in the back, and then just watch this zombie horde. Like,
just feel bad about it. Yeah.
So it was just somebody else's problem.
Everyone else is
shouting, look at that zombie horde, and everyone's going, I'm not dealing with that. I'll attack you.
But yeah, 2 very interesting packs for different reasons. Both are at the end of April. I believe there's potentially still, they may or may not be tickets still going by the time this goes live. So if anyone hasn't got a ticket,
both on Facebook.
Both on Facebook, and they're both the last weekend in April. So if you're looking for an event around that time, reach out to some of the organisers, because I'm sure both of them will be a really good way to spend a weekend or a day.
It's quite odd that there hasn't been a tournament in London for all the time that I've been going to tournaments.
Well, there hasn't been one for at least 5 years. I mean, there were events historically when before at a certain time that you may not want to talk about after an earlier discussion.
Move on.
Yeah. Before Malekith took his rightful place.
Yeah, we'll edit that out.
One thing I will say though is, I know you said it's brave taking like an end times no comp event, but it does give just something different to the scene, which I think is good. It gives people the opportunity to just, as long as you avoid, I suppose, the really nasty things, and of which there are about 2 or 3, and don't be that guy. It does throw out the opportunity to get out all the big guns, and as long as everyone is on the same page, then you can't really complain about what you see on the other side of the table. It's just like, if you take a spoon, it's going to be a gunfight, then you can't really complain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, if I could attend, Hughes, you would have been tempted to take Nagash and all of me undead and just see what I could rock up with, what I could manage to summon.
Yeah, I would have gone double or triple. Just
Steve,
waited into your hordes and gone, I've got 58 attacks now.
You just said about being that guy, and then Scott comes out with
Nagash. Yeah.
I mean,
Scott is that guy.
If I had Dark Elves and a Malekith, I would absolutely take a Malekith and just watch no one kill him, because he's essentially unkillable.
Ugh. Well, I'm sure the narrative spirit would suggest that you're not going for the crush everyone 20-0 style, which I mean, if it's narrative, it doesn't really work that way anyway.
Yeah, because to be fair, it's not even 20-0 scoring. It's
No.
essentially anything that dies. There's a death chart, and there's a chance rather. It's an attrition, which actually is the other reason I'd be very tempted to take Undead. I think Undead would do incredibly well in their comp system, especially VC.
Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'll be interested hopefully to hear from some of the guys who do go of how it goes.
Yeah, because it's again, it's something a bit different, which you haven't really seen before.
No, I think Steve's right though. The more different flavors that get brought to the event calendar, like the better.
Is the London one, is that the same 20-0 scoring, or is that copied the 3-point swing?
It's triple crown score. It's a standard 20-0 scoring.
Right.
Triple crown tally Cardiff scenarios without the plus or minus 3.
Right. Oh,
but you do get additional victory points for 750 victory points for achieving the missions, which I think's huge.
That's quite a lot. That
it's big. I like it though. You don't lose anything, but like that is game changer. Securing the mission is enormous.
Yeah, just do what we normally do, Scott, and just take all the models off, and you'll probably win the mission anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly. If in doubt, kill
everything.
Yeah, kill everything and worry about the mission later.
Yeah.
Not really what they were aiming for. Or maybe it is.
Let's not complicate these things. Zug, worry about everything else at the end.
We all know we generally read the pack in the car on the way down.
Yes, we enjoy a pack read on the way down.
Yeah.
Like, crap.
Yeah. Oh, we should have put this in our list because of this scenario. Oh well.
That's one of the highlights of the weekend.
Yeah. On the way units, so they have no banners.
Yeah.
Or on the way home, as I did for Derby last year.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So there's 2 in April, and then the next one is the Triple Crown GT.
The original.
The original, which there was a slight issue with us getting tickets, which we don't bring up.
We don't. Steve's going to the one in May, so
yeah, I got
someone got a ticket, even if I managed to not get us tickets for that one.
We've mostly forgiven Scott for failing to acquire the tickets.
I could hear the wails of anguish as he was trying to buy them though from here. So.
Yeah, it was not a good time to be me.
I was, and I know this is just a miniatures game that's dead, but when it looked like we weren't be able to go, I was actually like feeling hollow. Like, what am I going to do? There's going to be people playing in the store, and I'm not there.
And I think obviously we'll come on to it slightly, but hats off to the Triple Crown guys who obviously having such incredible signups. They could run a second GT, and there's been such good signups. Like they've been limited for the most part, but people either attend one or the other.
I think that was handled. For those who don't know, but I don't know if anyone who listens to this who wouldn't know. There was a slight issue with their website where they oversold the tickets. That was part of it, wasn't it? Yeah. So people were getting that they'd had a ticket, but actually the ticket didn't exist. So they, and full credit to them, they fixed it by just saying we will put on another tournament and we'll honour anyone who still wants a tickets reservation. So that was very impressive and very well done.
Yeah. Like it's rubbish that it happened, but to be fair to them, they handled it as well as you could have asked for.
Because they published that video where they were saying, well, there isn't really a bigger venue available. They like where that is now. So the other way to solve it was to just do another one. Which then immediately sold out. So the demand is clearly there.
It's probably worth discussing both of those at the same time. It's essentially the same event.
It's the same
It is the same event.
Exactly the same 1 May, 1 June.
And they have tweaked the comp slightly, I think. When they announced it early, was it late last year?
Yes, they've just done like their annual update to it and
Yeah.
slightly ended from last year, haven't they?
They're giving
I think
everyone the opportunity to take giants, which I'm always in favour of.
Yeah, Steve saw giants and that's it. He's in.
Yeah, I just thought, yep, I'm in. 2 giants. First things on the list.
Is that the new in thing? Like magma dragons are out and giants are in?
If only that were the case.
Yeah.
If only that
I
were the
think it's
case.
like comparing a Porsche to a Skoda.
Giants are in for Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Or Liam. Also in Liam's a giant fan. But no, all the sane people will still be taking magma dragons, and then there'll be Steve with double giant.
Yeah. Which I'm wanting one to go up to Magma Dragon and spend 8 rounds just headbutting it slowly to death.
Yeah.
Because that would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Just do that annoying you immediately lose the combat by 2.
Yell and ball and chase it down. Which would be
I'd
hilarious.
rather just stand there and constantly headbutt it for 8 rounds until it dies. Yeah, much more fun.
They've removed a lot of the, or is it all of the end time stuff now from?
All in the fact that you can't use, like, say, Undead Legions or anything like that.
They've removed that.
They've blended the characters and stuff into lists and just built them into different races comps.
So a lot of the end times units and things and things like that are still there, just in specific army list comp.
Yeah.
And they've also changed the rules for Tomb Kings, is that right?
Yes, they've given them essentially the ability to march like VC within 12 inches of the general and amended the healing to what you call it.
Oh yeah, units with the animated construct special rule can only ever recover.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Mind blank there, apologies. And they've lowered their innate plus from +3 down to +1 for taking Tomb Kings.
So, is this a coincidence, or is trying to bring Tomb Kings up a bit, along with Giants and Magma Dragons, this year's thing?
Well, we've had Triple Crowns. Their changes were really because they'd also removed the capacity to play Undead Legions.
Yeah, which enabled Tomb Kings
to march.
Because I was thinking about taking a Legions list, but pure Tomb Kings.
That's what my intention was as well.
So they've basically said you can't take an Undead Legions list, but we'll give the Undead Legions rules to Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they've done. So all they've done is said you can take Undead Legions pure Tomb Kings, which means you just can't shoehorn in VC units and things.
I'm not usually a fan of changing the core rules. But I don't play Tomb Kings, so it doesn't really affect me.
I'd have liked them to have left Undead Legions in rather than mess around with Tomb Kings personally. But then also it would have also meant you don't have to take a lot of Nekakara, which is just a tax.
Yeah, you still have the Nekahara tax on Tomb Kings, don't you? See, I quite like the marching thing because it just makes Tomb Kings a lot more viable because you just don't see them doing.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But I think if you just left Undead Legions, that would have done that. But I'm fine with this one with the changes, and it's only half the change rather than
just checking outside in case Shane's heard that and come around to firebomb my house.
Yeah, you're probably no longer friends once he hears this, Steve. To be honest.
Yeah. But
let me watch. No, I'm not interested.
But yeah, I like the change. I think it means there'll be a lot more Tomb Kings players out there, certainly probably for the next event.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm taking an artillery heavy dwarf army.
Just ruined my day.
Yeah, you're reading the signs and amending accordingly.
I mean, I was tempted to take a light Council Empire gun line just for an absolute laugh. I mean, laugh for me, not anyone I'm playing.
No, I'd say it's not really artillery heavy my dwarf list that I'm taking for that TC. What what I've gone, which is the approach I often take with TC, to be honest, because of the comp system. It gives you the opportunity to take some really fun, wacky lists. And yeah, you probably won't win, but you probably won't come bottom either.
Yeah,
So,
your dwarf list is cool, to be fair.
Yeah, I've just gone, right, what's the worst thing in the dwarf list? Yep, I'll have 2 of them. And then
double giant.
Then double giant, yeah. And then the rest just kind of fills in. So yeah, I'm going double anvil because no one takes an anvil. And in the previous book it was always 0-1. So I've never ever seen a dwarf list with double anvil in it. So
I haven't, probably for good reason.
Yeah, for very good reason. I look at it and go, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" But yeah, take that. Take a couple of giants and then just fill the rest in.
I'm just trying to imagine what this list actually looks like on the table. As you produce 2 anvils and 2 giants.
Yeah.
People just look at him like, "Oh, that's it. He's finally gone crazy."
Are the anvil spells actually spells? Like you can cast 2 versions of it, I'm assuming, because otherwise.
Yeah, they're like innate bound spells, like priests and stuff.
Right. Because that would be
just chuck 6 dice at one of them.
That would be even more impressive if you could only cast 1 of each spell, even though you've taken 2 anvils.
The bonuses don't stack though, I don't think. You get a bonus power and dispel dice for having an anvil on the table. So at least if one dies, I still get the bonus.
Redundancy built into your anvils.
Put one in each corner, then hopefully
I think it's safe to say Steve's going to have the wildest list at either TC event.
You'll be again stunned to hear that I'll be taking High Elves to Triple Crown 2. They have made it slightly harder to get a plus out of it because it's now +1 for the first unit of Shadow Warriors, not per unit. So I'm gonna have to find something to replace that second unit somewhere.
Shocking there.
Well, it will be the standard list though.
Is it?
There'll be no change. No. I like that. My tradition now is I take that list to the Triple Crown GT.
I see. Well, as mentioned earlier, it's the year of the Tomb Kings. Harder to get a high scoring positive because I'm also taking a Kenrick Titan.
Because why wouldn't you?
Well, I finally found a model for it, Steve, so it's in the list.
I've seen it. It's a decent looking model, actually.
Yeah, I think it works. So, I mean, it's a lot of points. He's a lot of points.
He is a lot
chunky monkey.
And he's
not great.
He's not great.
No, he's not great. He's comfortably not worth his points, but I'm taking him anyway because I found a model that I really like to use for him.
The thing is, he's scary. People
look
and go, "Oh my god, how am I going to kill that?" But actually,
you don't need to do crap.
He can march now. So.
He can march. He could march anyway because he wasn't technically Kenrick undead. He was just undead.
Yeah, and he's almost like a super powered Tomb King giant, isn't he? Because he's got the special attacks, which
he's a lot of points, but not a lot of. You don't get a lot of bang for your buck at all. Anything. But it's cool. I'm taking him.
We're going to the second one, aren't we, Scott?
We are. We're in June.
Which Steve, you're going to the first one.
I am. There's a whole concert contingent coming down for the first.
It is Team Concert going to the first one, isn't there?
Mm.
So you can tell us what happens, and then we can use that information because I assume the same thing will happen in the second one.
It depends if everyone tells everyone else what happened, and then you'll find you'll bring the same kind of the first tournament winning lists.
Well, no one's attending both, so I can't imagine it's going to have any bearing. But it means we can do a podcast coming near you in the future of summarising both TC events.
Mm.
Stand by for that 4 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
What you should do though is you should both take 2 giants and see who does the best.
Or
Well,
Yeah,
that's it.
giant
Well, I'll tell you what,
stories over the
maybe
weekend.
next year the aim is everybody, that's all of us, take 2 giants and we have some sort of giant off to see whose giants do the most across the
Yep.
weekend.
Exactly. Take a tally.
Everything else is irrelevant. It's all about the giants.
It's something else next year, though. It'll be, I don't know, cockatrices.
Yeah, we're not taking those. They're not as cool.
But other than a few tweaks to the comp, it's still the 20-0 system that
It's still a
everybody's
trial system.
familiar
It's
with.
still a very, very tried and tested comp. Like the Triple Crown guys, like are
They know what
like,
they're doing.
the masters of their art. To be fair, like they run a phenomenal event and have done for years. Constantly tweaking it to further try to improve it. Like genuinely, there's a reason their events sell out in minutes because they're excellent.
And they do have the ticket thing, so we will return to Triumph at the quiz.
Oh, well, yeah, we actually really only go for the quiz. The Warhammer is just a bonus.
Maybe they'll actually make the high elf questions difficult this time.
There's gonna be a day that you don't know a high elf question, and frankly, you're never gonna live it down.
That's true. I realise the hubris is phenomenal here, but I am going to risk it.
If that day arrives, the universe will explode and be replaced by something even more inexplicable.
That's how end times came about.
Yeah, you've just described the end times.
Like, it's odd that the week before the end times came out, Mark was in a pub quiz on high elf questions.
Yeah. This is your fault, Mark.
Well, this is why I'm trying to correct my mistake. It was like Sliders, or what was that other one?
Yeah.
What was it called? Scott Bakula.
Oh my god, why can't I think of the name of the program?
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Oh Jesus!
I'm constantly trying to leap into the universe where the end times didn't happen.
I suppose then, in between the two TCGTs, we have our next tournament, which you and I are going to, Mark, which is the Ebony Skulls, held up in near Inverness in the Highlands of Scotland. It'll be the third time I've been to one of their events. Like a really lovely bunch of guys, a much more relaxed, less tournament focused meta. Richard runs a very, very friendly event. It's really good, like a genuinely good event. It'll be the first time you attend, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's a really nice bunch of guys.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually driven north to go to a tournament rather than south. So this is a genuinely new experience. Yeah. And I'm probably or may not take high elves.
Oh,
it may be a new first time I've gone north. First time I've not taken the high elves.
But from a comp system, they are using Triple Crown for the first time. The Triple Crown comp. They've never used it before. They're using it this time. So that'll be very interesting to see how that impacts on their meta and on people's lists. But also, the flavour of their events, like I say, are much more between the narrative and the soft feeling. And in their comp, you can collect tokens, which allows you to summon zombie pirates.
They look pretty cool.
They do, and I like the fact that you can't proxy anything. It's an opportunity and an encouragement for people to do some modeling, do some conversion, do something a little bit out there. It could be very cool, very different, and I suppose to mirror what Steve said earlier, it's just an opportunity to bring something different to the scene.
I'm just looking through its comp now. They're not using 50% lords, are they?
No, it's Triple Crown comp.
So, you could get Kairos in, couldn't you?
Yeah.
He's -4. So that's a good start. But it is +1 if your army can, because my army will be mono Zinch demons if I can get them painted.
I genuinely think mono Zinch are massively under-comped. They should be bigger than a +1 because I think they're the worst.
Oh, easily.
The only good thing in a solo Zinth list is Kairosh.
Yeah. Let's just see what's the pluses will be, if I have any. +1 for Burning Chariot. Don't really want to bring one of them.
Oh, you've got to take a Burning Chariot. They're so rubbish, they need to be on the table.
I would say 2 with heralds on them.
For
Could do that.
+4.
+4 for each for that, because it's +1 per character on a chariot. +1 for the Burning Chariot.
Oh, that would counteract Kairos quite nicely.
They're terrible.
They certainly are.
Well,
They're the worst of all the chariots.
Yeah.
I can't think of a worse chariot in the game than the Zenith Chariot.
I like where the brackets normally have the armor of the chariot. It's just blank.
I know it has a 6-up save.
It doesn't.
Does it not?
No.
I thought it did.
I thought
It has a private ward save.
It's got a private
Just have a
ward.
private ward save until you roll a 3 on the on the chart and it gets -1.
I think Albion chariots are pretty bad, but they're not official.
And it's only strength, it's only toughness 4 as well. Like it's
Yeah.
just rubbish. It's so rubbish.
Don't worry, it's got a warp flame attack.
That makes you better.
Yeah, that helps your opponents.
But it's all right because if anyone's worried about it, it is also more expensive than a skull cannon.
I'm going to win this tournament with Mono Z.
I don't think it is if you put a herald on it. It's cheaper to buy as a mount than it is as a normal chariot.
I think it is cheaper to buy this amount.
Because
I
you're
can
losing the
fully-
flamer on top.
I can fully believe that.
Yeah.
So I think it's only about 80 points for a mount, which for an 80-point chariot, the Burning Chariot is actually all right.
The downside is what you're not given the herald is a disc, which is a
and he deserves
billion
better
times better than that.
Oh yeah, discs does what the chariot does, but better in every single way.
But it can't charge in and do D6 impact hits with 2, what are they called, screamers at the front.
Yeah, I mean you're right. It can't do that.
It certainly can't.
No, exactly.
How will I ever cope?
I don't know, Mark. That's why I'm asking the question. How will you cope?
Well, you'll find out at
Watch this
event.
space.
You're not going to this, Steve, so you won't see it. But I'll
I know.
take pictures of it.
It's one of those events I really want to go to, but it just happens to. So far, I haven't been able to.
Yeah, it's just never been timed well for you, Steve, has it? To
No.
be fair.
No, but it looks a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah,
also
I
very
must
surprised
mirror
Scott
that.
hasn't been banned yet.
Yeah, that is fair. It's a fair comment. That is a fair comment.
Because I saw what he took last time, and it was just, I had
Yeah.
to take a bath after just reading his.
Yeah, to be fair, the first time we went up, you were allowed a storm of a monstrous arcane or a storm of magic monster. And bear in mind, it was the first time I'd gone up, so I didn't know how the meta was, and I took my Chaos Dwarfs, and I took a regular Kadai and a flying Kadai.
I'm surprised to let you back.
Yeah. Well, next time, the second event that we went, it was a team event, and I let Andy take Chaos Dwarfs, and I took VC, but I took a Flying Ghoul King with Scab Scrath, I think, and a Terrorgeist and a unit of X-Rays.
You know, when you were saying, oh, it's a nice, relaxed, fluffy, lovely tournament atmosphere, and you just took...
Well, hence, I'm taking a fluffy Tomb Kings list to the one this time.
Yeah,
And I'm probably going to get battered all over the place.
It fits in nicely with Scott's other hobby of taking candy off babies.
No, like it is. I think anyone who goes will enjoy would enjoy the event up there. Like really good guys. Just to sort of starting to flex some of this meanness that's coming my way.
I'm hoping I don't get the same feeling from my previous meme list, but because it's got possibly Kairos in and a lot of magic, I don't think I'll feel the same way about it.
Nah, it's just a shame you can't quite fit a Kairos in and a Lord of Change.
On the flip side, it does mean I only have to paint one Lord of Change.
That's true.
Because this is in June, is it?
June, yep, first weekend of June, the weekend before Triple Crown.
So I've got some time still to paint the army that I keep talking about, but never actually make any progress on. Just looking through here. -1 per caster using a Lore of Tzeentch after the second. However, if you are mono Tzeentch, that does not apply to you.
Which is handy because you'll have 10 of them.
+1 if your army consists solely of demons of Slaanesh. That you get the same bonus for mono Slaanesh.
I did say Tzeentch were undercomped.
Yeah, and I think Slaanesh.
I think Slaanesh are
quite
coming from the
generous.
second best
They're
mono god list.
Yeah, quite generous in the comp.
Yeah. They've got lots of options that you get even more positives with as well.
Yeah, everyone just Tzeentch is just neglected, which is
it's the god of magic with the worst of the chaos magic.
Well, he should change that since that's his area of responsibility, but he doesn't seem to do anything about it.
Because he had such a good time being incredible in 7th edition.
Oh, he's putting his feet up after that.
He's chilling in 8th eye.
Yeah, I think, a couple of bloodthirsters came out with large Nerf bats and getting a bit thinking. Said, no.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it right now.
But the Lords of Change could have the Wonder Whimsy and hit them back. But
no.
I don't think I can fit one in. Along with Special K.
Special K.
I do think a Lord of Change with a Wonder Whimsy is a really good option.
I love a Lord of Change with Wonder Whimsy. Level 4, Lore of Metal. Get Wonder Whimsy flowing. Get your 10 attacks at strength 10 and then go ham.
They still don't die in combat. Like weapon skill 1, initiative 1, Kairos there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's but I am hard if you can take Kairos and a Lord of Change with a Wonder Whimsy.
Yeah, you can.
Not that he would have any magic dice to play with, but the potential's there.
How many spells would that be to keep a track of? Because Kairos has got 8, 16, no, 15 plus 4, 15, 19 spells to keep on track of.
Plus all your another 6 spells, to be fair, but you'll have duplicates on all of your core.
Yeah, that would take forever.
Sorry, because you then roll sub 7 for your magic phase. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's guaranteed. But you get a lot of channels, so you might make it up.
You get a lot of channel attempts.
Re-rolling ones. Stuff
Very
like
true.
Yeah. Yep. Don't mess with Tzeentch. Yeah. You might heal the enemy, but re-rolling ones on some things more than makes up for it.
Yeah. So then the next event is in August, which is currently planned to be the Cardiff team event.
Have we skipped over the Derby event?
No, that's next. That's in September, isn't it?
I thought it was July.
That was July. If I got them back to front, apologies.
We have to take this all again from the start.
From the start. he's screwed it up again.
We do one take.
one take only, you idiots.
Amateurs do 2 takes. We do 1.
We do 1, we just get it wrong, it's fine.
Where are we? Derby Deathmatch 2023. This is the one where last year where I was going, they've calculated me score wrong. And then I read in the comp after the tournament that you don't add the positive or negative
to
your final skill.
We all did this, didn't we?
Yeah, we all kind of didn't read it. But I will read it this time.
We saw plus and -1 and just went for it.
Yeah, it's like you don't read the second line where it says, which is not added to your final score.
Yeah. C'est la vie.
Yeah, well, you live and learn.
You do live and learn. And we all have tickets for Derby Deathmatch, though, don't we?
Is this where
it's not 100% sure if you can attend or not yet.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I have got a ticket, yes.
It's where the Fellowship will be reunited, hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't go last year. The last Derby event wasn't the Triple Crown one I actually went to. That was a one-dayer. when I took my goblins.
Yeah, that's where it was ran by Stephen, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
Ryan Shane went to several years ago.
But it's a nice venue. I
Yes.
liked it.
And last year during the heat wave, they were incredible. Like, incredible.
I think they must have made no profit with the amount of water they were giving us.
No, like they were like massive shout out to Swords and Boards. They were phenomenal. Like phenomenal.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
probably life-saving is a bit of an exaggeration, but not that far off.
Well, for how ill I was, it probably was life-saving.
That was nothing to do with the heat.
I think it was. It was heat stroke, Mark. It was heat stroke. Definitely had nothing to do with alcohol.
You don't
Definitely
get
not.
heat stroke in the middle of the night at Pop
Yes.
World. That's
Yeah,
all
you
I'm saying.
You do. You don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. We'll see. We'll do it again.
I don't know if we will.
Or a year older. So this is the one where it's your list has to come between plus or -2. So it's built in a slightly different way. But it's the same 5 games over 2 days. It's the same Triple Crown comp because it's Triple Crown running it. I quite like this as just, and it's not 20-0, is it? It's win, lose, draw.
It's win, lose, draw. That's it. Yeah.
So again, speaking of the variety, not only is there quite a lot of events, they're all quite, it's a bit different in how you.
Yeah, a lot of them are just slightly different. Like they all, for the most part, with the exception of Lustria, use either the Triple Crown comp, as in for their tally comp, or a modified version of it with Cardiff.
Yeah.
But win conditions are very different for multiple different events. Like Cardiff's very different. GT's what it is. The Lustria is different. So yeah, I think it's enough to keep it interesting and different for sure.
It was actually quite hard. I was looking at the comp and I thought, I'll take my normal dwarf list and I'll just filter it down from its +10 to a +2 and just kind of squeak in.
Couldn't do
I
it, could you?
found that very, very hard. So I think I was visited by the Lord of Darkness late one night and I've completely flipped to the dark side.
A negative list. I've got a -2 list in mind for it.
Yeah, I've got a -2 list and it just makes my eyes bleed when I look at it.
I know, the last time I took +2 for no reason.
What happens if Steve brings a negative list? Does like space-time continuum detonate or what?
Honestly, I don't think.
I'll just pretend it's my evil twin.
This is Stefan.
Yes.
Steve's evil twin.
But yes, when I totted up my first one, it was like -3, and I was like, oh god, I'm going to get another positive in there.
Oh, a -3.
I know.
For this, I'm thinking of a variant on my narrative list from last year.
Oh, nice.
Because that comes out at about 0 or -1 or +1 on this comp, because it's changed slightly, but it's around there. So I can, I'm going to aim for -2 as of now.
Yeah, I'll be aiming for -2 after the realizations.
Because last year I went in with, I'm +2. Look how great I am. That'll be a nice +2 points added to the end. No, it's not. So you did that for nothing.
This list because I think it'll ruin a lot of people's weekends.
Oh, is that? I know what this is all about. That's disgusting. Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen.
It's very brutal.
The punishment for Techless is still in the Triple Crown comp. So the market research from Cardiff last year has affected the comp this year.
I mean, Techless is fairly broken, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's strange that he doesn't look it on paper.
Nobody is,
but he actually is in reality here.
I mean, I'm not this year because obviously it's the year of the Tomb Kings, but I do keep getting re-tempted to take to play Lizardmen in an event. Again, it's been a long time.
I think you're taking Tomb Kings to this one then.
Well, the intention, unless things have gone horribly by then, is to take Tomb Kings to the events all year. with the potential exception of the narrative, depending on what the narrative is.
So I'm not going
I
to
was thinking about doing the same with dwarfs this year. So he's got
Just have 1 year, just play them.
yeah, just one army 1 year. It's normally I paint up an army for an event, take it, having played like 0 games with the army beforehand. See how I do, and then sell it.
Standard Steve tactics.
Then paint another one for the next event.
Well, last year, with the exception of the narrative, when I took, to be fair, actually last year I played 3 different armies. Predominantly VC for the last couple of years, with the odd spattering of Chaos Dwarfs. And then the Tomb Kings came out for the narrative last year, and the intention is to keep them rolling for events this year.
We've exchanged places then, because I am actually going to take at least 2 armies this year.
Yeah.
I
was
do
just
have quite a
trying
nice plus
to
10
think
list
in my
at my
head
list that I'm tempted to take.
What's the last list of armies I've taken to events? I think I haven't taken the duplicate one for a while.
No, but it will be a while, won't it?
The thing is, goblins, warriors, ogres, dwarfs,
Chaos Dwarfs,
Bretts. So yeah, it's been a good smattering.
I'll do the same as you and just rattle off all the armies I've taken in the past few years. High Elves. And then that's the end of the list. It's changing this year.
So yeah, well, I do have quite a nice plus 10 Lizard Man list in mind, to potentially have a shot at.
Can't take plus 10 at
no, not
Derby.
at Derby, but just an event at some point, like possibly not this year, but maybe.
Yeah, you see, I've never taken Lizardman to an event before, so I think that's what's leaning me towards my core only.
Yeah. Well, mine would be a Croak list because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. Although I think the Lizardman list I have is only like a plus 6. Because if you're limited by core, you can't get any positives for anything in special or rare.
No.
So you're kind of having to go let's put something on a carpet and let's not take a BSB. Let's not take any Dispel Scrolls. Try and get this score up.
That's a problem with Tzeentch Demons, believe it or not.
Yeah, shocked.
Scrabbling around for them plus 1s.
Yeah, but you're not taking Heralds and Burning Chariots. That's where you. That's where
I might be.
Just to balance off Kairosh's negative.
I may have no choice.
So yeah, Derby will be good. The whole win-loss draw thing is always very different.
I like it because I do like playing the missions out of the game, the book, like Dawn Attack being my favourite iteration
of Dawn Attack, don't you?
Yeah, I really like Dawn Attack. I don't know whether it's just because it takes away the stress of deployment.
As someone who predominantly plays VC, I detest Dawn Attack with a fiery passion.
Yeah. I think was it Cardiff when they first put it on when you had to roll for random deployment?
They merged
characters in units.
Yeah, they merged Dawn Attack with Meet and Engagement, so everything had to roll to come on, and everything had to deploy. Yeah, you couldn't put characters in units. So my BSB deployed on the opposite side of the board from where his unit was, and then got shot in turn 1 and killed. So I wasn't happy about that.
I think it really hurt undead armies.
Personal experience, it really hurt me. Goddamn Dawn Attack. Disgusting.
Attack's alright, because you can put the general in the unit, but that's...
When your entire army lives or dies by a 12-inch bubble...
Yeah, well, I suppose that's fair, but... Just roll a 6, just practice rolling 6s for when you put in the general down.
That's what I'll do. Then I just roll 1s. I don't really care as long as it's all together.
They don't do Watchtower, though. They do Watch Hill, which is better.
Much better. Yeah, much better.
I like how they do it as well. Before the round starts, they roll the big dice to tell you what one it is. So it's not set. You don't know what's coming up.
Yeah, I like it. Which then takes us to the last planned event of the year, which is the Derby Teams event. Sorry, Cardiff Teams event.
Cardiff Teams, yes. We're not doing 3 takes. This is staying
Good
in.
Lord. And that one, I don't know what sign-ups are looking like currently. I think this one's in August. I think it's probably just going to struggle because it's August as well, and a lot of people are away on holidays. It's the summer.
Quite a way away, isn't it, for people to...
Yeah, it's a long way away, and there's also lots of events in between there and now.
I haven't actually ever been to a team event, so
I love it. I love a team event, to be honest, and it's doing picks like the old ETC events as well, which are cool.
I say, how have they done it for matchups and things?
So, Steve might be able to describe it better than me, but you essentially, your captain puts forward like 2 players. The other team captain then picks a matchup for that one of them, and then you essentially take turns picking from choices and create matchups in that regard.
That sounds quite fun.
It is. It's really fun, and team events are just genuinely brilliant. Like really good fun.
Team events are definitely my favourite. I love team events.
Agreed.
Be it partner events or teams of 4, whatever. Just a lot more fun, I think.
Is this the only team event of the year?
Yes, other than probably a smaller event. Andy will probably run.
Oh yeah, he does.
North, another doubles event, random doubles. But yeah, it's the only team event on the calendar.
Well, again, there's another the amount of variety as well, like we're talking about in scoring and stuff. And there's a narrative, and there's a team event. So it's all whichever you want to do. You've probably got a good chance of. Well, a lot of them are sold out now, but you did have a good chance of doing it this year.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's still several events with tickets available. So if anyone who doesn't actually have one and would like to attend a Warhammer event, there's plenty available with points, with places still to have.
So like Champions of Destiny, that's probably the place to go to see what's still got places left. Probably.
Oh, sorry?
Like the Champions of Destiny page.
Oh yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, that'll be the best place to go to find who's got places in general, I think.
So I'm assuming Cardiff is just going to use for the team's event. They're going to use their modified Triple Crown comp.
Yeah, it's slightly different to their standard comp. They've put positive back in for no dispels and a couple of other changes. What's really interesting is each individual army can't go lower than a -4. So that the collective team maximum negative can be -16. But each individual army can go up to +10. So as a team, you could collectively have +40.
It's obviously the only way to do it.
I mean, obviously, if you weren't taking a collective effort of +10, like what the hell would be the point?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing going in the first place?
-4. I could probably just about scrape together an army for -4.
Well, you'd not be welcome without +10, Mark.
Good. I'll find my own team.
And +10 or nothing. So if the stars align and I can attend, because at the minute it's looking ropey, but if I can, that might be the +10 Lizard Men list.
Yeah, that's another one for me, which is I'd love to go, but
it's just because of the timing of it and when it is, unfortunately.
I mean, I've got plenty of +10 lists I can pick from.
Oh yeah.
Imagine your Steve's filing cabinet is just full of +10 lists.
I mean, there's plenty of +10 Empire lists available.
Yes, I could paint a halfling empire list. I've got a +10 list with 2 steam tanks in it.
You're a hero. I mean, for all
Or
the
evil.
Yeah, hero of evil.
Well, I did put that triple Rhinox list together. Was it Liam? That was +10 for Cardiff.
Absolutely disgusting.
3 units of Rhinox. 3 units of 3 Rhinox. And
Have you
still
considered
managed to get to
trying to
+10.
write a comp yourself, Steve, and just...
I have done in the past, Mark, many times. I used to, when I used to run events, how many years ago now?
God.
Quite a few.
Yeah. Decade, roughly, Steve, do you reckon?
Yeah. And it was based around kind of like it's quite subjective, I think. Basically, it was a tally comp, I think, but pretty much everything, most things in the book had a positive or a negative.
Yeah.
To it.
When we do the Splitfire tournament, which I'll delegate you two to sort out, you can...
Thanks.
You can bring back your comp and see if anyone can break it.
I like the old bloodbath comps as well, or I think maybe the old Sheffield Slaughter one actually, rather, where it's just all about killing stuff. Not 20, no, it's all about what you kill with secret missions. I quite like that sort of stuff. But that's a side aside to what we're chatting about currently.
Be another episode on that.
Yeah. So yeah. I think the Cardiff team event though could be very cool.
I'm not sure if I'll. I mean, it's so far in the future. For the minute, I don't know what I'll be.
Same.
So it's.
I might struggle because of when it is, with it being in the summer.
What do you know? What the specific date is?
Yes, if you give us a second, I'll tell you what the exact date is, especially for anyone interested. It is. Boom, boom, boom. I just had it open. The 5th and 6th of August.
Yeah, I'm at work then. If it's looking likely that some of us might be able to go, I will look into seeing if I can, because I've never done a team event, and I will be curious to do it.
Yeah, they are just such good fun. To be honest, like every team event I've ever been to in the past, they've just been such an enjoyable way to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can take some really wacky armies because you can kind of tailor the matchups to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So you can really think of some crazy stuff which you wouldn't normally take to an event, which is kind of rubbish against some, but really good against others, and hope that you can try and tailor the matchup so you play the better matchup. I think the last team event I went to, which was a 4-team event, not a doubles, I took like an all chariot beastman army because just funny. With Slug Tongue on his own, stood in the middle of nowhere because he didn't have a unit standing.
Yeah.
And 2 Gorgons.
Was that the one Andy and Richie ran years ago in Whitley Bay?
No, this was a big one. I think it was like in Mansfield or something.
Right, cool. New hero.
Yeah, it did quite well until the last round when I got paired up against the Dark Elf Avoidance list. I was just like, yeah, not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah. Tapping out here, guys.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, like you say, it's a long time in the future. We'll see how that's looking. And then the only other event we know that will certainly be on later in the year will be the TC narrative event with all dates and further information TBC.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that because the previous storyline wrapped up, so we don't know what they're going to start up this time, whether it's going to be a one-shot or whether it's going to be the start of another story arc.
I will be trying my absolute damnedest to go, though, because the last narrative event was genuinely fantastic.
Yes, I have to echo that. That's probably the best event I've ever been to. See at the top of the screen or whatever for the episode we did on that if you want to know more. It's probably had the battle in it where I've had the most I don't know. It stressed my brain to the absolute limit, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Also, the most you've ever failed to cast Walk Between Worlds in a single game.
Oh, you have no idea.
But yeah, hopefully once dates are announced for that, there'll be dates I can attend, and then I can hopefully get tickets for it, because the narrative was genuinely brilliant and is always a good laugh.
I am also considering taking Monozinch Demons to that.
It's exactly the right type of event to do that too.
I think so. Well, I don't know if because he was a herald, wasn't he? The special character for him last time. So I don't know if he'll be coming back, because I don't think he died in spoilers. I don't think he died.
It was a totally. I think the intention that the guys were talking about was a totally
new set of characters.
New set. So be interesting to see.
Yeah. Not that I want to influence them one or the other, but please do a Lord of Change. So I'll bring one. Plus, because now the Lord of Change doesn't fit onto his actual base size, so you're kind of punishing yourself by bringing the chariot base in a competitive thing.
He fits on if you've got one of the little Lord of Changes.
I don't want one of them. I like the new ones.
Yeah, they're lovely models. My Lord of Change is one of the little fellas, though.
You could
have seen old classic Kairos
on a pole above the base.
You could do that, but I don't want
to. I've got little Kairos as well.
Yeah, he looks so dinky.
Baby K.
It's like a mini.
I'm sure that's just another word for Ketterman. But
is it?
Special K, isn't it?
I thought that was just a breakfast cereal, Mark.
Whatever way you want.
We move in different circles.
We do, don't we? We very much do.
Could be both. What was it? Yes. So the narrative, Special K. Please do a Lord of Change special character, because I will bring one. And I don't mind that he's on a charity base with a bigger target, because it's a narrative event and it doesn't really matter. It's all about the story.
All about the story. This time you can even maybe play the missions.
What, in more than 2 out of 5 games?
But yeah, I'd definitely will be looking for the narrative. I love the last one, genuinely. Good God, that'll take us to the 9 calendar events with the narrative, which really just goes to show what a fantastic scene. Like, for me, I think Warhammer is in the UK.
Yeah, it's
really expanded a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's just gone from strength to strength since the pandemic. I think you might be right, Steve. The forced shutdown of it, and then the restart.
Forced a lot of people to paint their armies.
Yeah, it's 100%. And I think with that, it's just gone from strength to strength.
Not me, by the way. I waited till the pandemic was over before I started to paint, for some reason.
Didn't you paint a load whilst lockdown with COVID?
Yes. When I was on, what was it used to be called? When you couldn't go into work.
Isolation.
Yeah, I painted half of the High Elves in common use, and then again, when I'd got it, I didn't get it again, but I had to go into isolation again. I painted the other half. So that was marvellous.
Yeah, I got COVID, and in the 2 weeks I painted a Slaanesh demon army.
And then sold it?
Yeah.
I got COVID and spent a week being actually ill.
Yeah, you were doing it wrong, clearly.
Evidently so. Because to be honest, it was not long after you had it, was it? You had it, painted army, then I tested. I was like, oh, get in. I want to try doing the same. And then was genuinely ill for like 7 days.
Didn't work.
I was really bad for about 2 or 3 days. I literally couldn't lift a paintbrush. But for the other 7 to 10, I was well enough to lift a paintbrush, and I was in isolation, so I was stuck in a room.
Yeah. God, honest.
I lost my sense of taste, but other than that, could paint no problem. I painted all the Phoenix Guard, 50 Spearmen, the Dragon Princes. Like it was addictive. like how much I can get done.
You really got into it though, didn't you?
Yeah, that was probably the most. That burst, the 2 weeks, I did the most per day painting that I think I've ever done before.
So that
So
is
yeah,
status quo 2023.
yeah,
Warhammer
so
Fantasy.
a lot coming up.
Amazing.
Um,
And a special little shout out to the guys who are running events. Like,
yes, thank you, because otherwise we have nothing to talk about.
yeah, like hats off and thank you again. But also like a special little shout out to the guys running ones for the first time this year.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
It's good to get as many up and running as possible, I would say.
Oh,
With
definitely.
a bit of variety, yeah.
Incredible. Really just fantastic to see, and like it gives us Warhammer nerds something to do.
To break the comp on.
That's just
yeah. Well, the last bit was what we're going to do on the channel in this year. We were talking about doing some actual battle reports.
That's the aim, isn't it?
That is the aim. So I think we'll try and do that when we get a lightning setup sorted, or a place to play it.
I've now got lighting in place, I think.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, it's not in place. It's in the room. The room is still like the rest of the house, essentially a building site. However, it is all theoretically there to start TBC.
I think we could do a pilot.
Yes.
See how it goes.
We do a pilot. People can then be like, "Look, you idiots! This is all bad." And be like, "You're right."
People can be every time we're going. They forgot this rule. They forgot steadfast. Like actually, it's not so fun when people are telling you that you forgot.
Sadly, we can never forget steadfast. It's the worst rule that GW have ever made.
Disagree.
Closely followed by always strikes first.
No, that's a supreme rule. Better not get rid of that in the old world.
I think if steadfast could be disrupted, it would make it a lot better.
It's one of the many things prevent you from having fun with monsters.
I tentatively agree with what Steve said. Cannons being laser accurate. This is way off topic. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do some more tier lists if you're up for it, because
everyone loves a tier list.
Everyone likes them, and they're very easy to do, which is two brilliant combinations. And we'll try to get Duncan Rhodes on. No promises. He replied to me once in a message on his Facebook page, which I assume means he's ready and willing to come on.
Basis.
Yeah, I've met him actually in Element Games. I didn't realize it was him. I was setting up.
Incredible, to be fair, isn't he?
I was setting up a game of fantasy, and he came over and started talking, and I was so focused on where my models were going to go that I just completely blanked them. And then I realized
what paints you've got, Steve.
Yes.
To try.
Yeah, I have. They're quite nice. It took a very long time to get them, but yeah, I think.
Well, you can bring all these things up when he turns up.
Well, I think they're releasing phase 2, aren't they? Shortly of the game?
Yes, I'll be getting emails about that, but I'm not going to go in for phase 2. If judging by the amount of time it took to get phase 1.
I think they've sort of made a bit of an announcement about sort of apologising for the length of time and saying they've got something better lined up from a supply point.
He's not going to come on if you rubbishing his paint delivery system.
Well, no, I've got them now, so I'm happy. It's fine.
There you go. Order restored. Well, that's about it, I think, unless anyone's got anything else they want to chip in.
No, thanks for having us again.
No, start as you mean to go on.
Cares to listen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know what the next one will be. It'll probably be a preview of Cardiff. Like we always do.
List review for Cardiff.
Yeah, my list's pretty much done. So
mine is set. I'll be submitting mine this weekend. Typing it up and submitting this weekend.
I think it's not this Saturday, but next that you've got submitted by. Is that right?
I still think you need to take that triple Rhinox list.
You'll be there in spirit.
Yes.
Any board where I see a giant, I'm like, ah, Steve's
what-
here in spirit.
That's what
Yeah.
he's done.
Giants or Rhinox.
Ugh. Experimental rules. Anyway, yes. So probably the next one will be a preview of Cardiff with some lists, and then the next 7 successive events, and see how that goes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right. Until the next one. Thanks very much.
Thanks.